right now we're outside, and there's very few people out here at the moment outside. So, but we're gonna go walk into the ancient rose garden. And so she loved flowers. I'll tell you some more about that when we get out there. But here you can see this is the entrance to the chateau. The chateau that we see now is 17th century, but Malmaison itself dates back to the 13th century. So it was first mentioned in 1244. And it was, Malmaison basically means the bad house, but they think that equates back to the Norman invasion because they kind of took up this area. And so that was kind of, you know, bad that they'd taken it over. So that's where Malmaison comes from. And again, very English garden in the way that it's done. But look at, and this is the perfect time to come because we have all of these roses. Look at these. Beautiful. We're gonna walk out this direction and hope the groups are staying inside. The first time I came here, I believe it was in the fall. So I didn't get to really see any of the roses in bloom. But look, it's so quiet. Look at this. So Josephine purchased the property in April 21st, 1799. Another thing that the Napoleon movie that Ridley Scott did got wrong was about Malmaison. And so she had actually purchased it while Napoleon was away. He wasn't very pleased about that when he found out. And she said, oh, you know, I basically put a promissory note and I'm buying this place and this is where I'm going to live and this is where we will live. And he came back and had to find the money to pay for it. So she was the one who found this. But she had over 250 varieties of roses here. She had different people that took care of it. At first, it was an English gardener named Thomas Blakey, and then it was a Scottish horticulturalist, Alexander Haveston. And so he came over here and they started creating this. And Napoleon, to make his wife happy, whenever he had his generals going all over the world that they knew at the time, and he'd have them bring things back. So they'd bring back samples of flowers and trees and everything. Malmaison is the first place they had eucalyptus. They also brought animals. And so there was all sorts of animals at different times here, including what I hope is we could still see some of them here. But they had kangaroos here. They had tigers. They had just about every kind of animal you could even think of had been here on the property. And then it got to a point where they couldn't take care of them. They didn't have enough people. It was too expensive. And so they took them to the Jardin des Plantes, which is where the zoo is, which is the oldest zoo in Europe, is at the Jardin des Plantes. And here, as you can see, beautiful Josephine right there and her roses. We can walk through here. Renovating. Oh, inaugurated May 2014. So I think we're done. Let's go look down here. The Pavilion of Summer, the Pavillon d'été. 1790. It was a property of Jacques Jean Le Couteau du Molay. Look at how cute that little thing is. I don't think that's the original door. Oh, you guys, it's heaven. It smells heavenly out here. And I love that they have the little names. You know, I'm from a place that's known as the City of Roses. So we have a massive rose garden in Portland, Oregon. And I used to love to go there with my grandparents. When we were little, my grandpa would take us up there with like a Happy Meal from McDonald's, which was like the greatest thing ever as a kid. This one is called the Chateau de Napoleon. It's actually, we're kind of getting to the end of, we've had so much rain. It's probably good. This is the Empress Josephine. So we are getting to the end of these, but Raphael Robert. Name for my cousin, I'm sure. From England. Let's see. Well, you could imagine it. It's a height of color. These ones are pretty pretty. Oh, look at this one. Look at that. Beautiful flowers. So quiet. Oh, these are, I think these are more peonies, I think. Look at that. Guys, this is the Rose of the King, but look at where it's from. Portland, 1812. No wonder. And it's the Rose of the King. How about that? You know, I love a plaque. Clementine. I just like come out here and I just imagine Josephine wandering in her empire style dress, just wandering through the gardens. I mean, I'm sure that some of these are from Portland. They're just, how beautiful and quiet is this? I wasn't able to do as much in the inside in the chateau as I would have wanted to share with you, just because there was too many people, and it's a very small place, and they were all the different the big tour groups were talking, and so you wouldn't have been able to really hear. But I talked to somebody as I left. They're one of the directors here, and they gave me their card, and I'm going to be able to come out one day when nobody's here. They'll let me come in early and I can make a video and reshare it with everybody and really get in close to all the details without people there. So that'll be very exciting. So what's this little garden here? Chinese roses here in these pots. DuPont rose. This is more tropical. It's an olive tree. Look at that, bird of paradise. What is this little thing? Oh, cassis. Those are tomatoes. Mint? Those are definitely tomatoes down there. Look at this. Hibiscus. Uh-oh, here comes the buses. So we can walk back to the garden. Oh, look at lemon. Note to self, don't come on a weekend. Usually when I have come out here before, there's nobody here. It's just so quiet. And you have the whole place to yourself. Look at that tree. The tree is just, look at these trees. They're just massive. It's beautiful. It's been beautiful the last few days in Paris. It's so nice, but I guess we're gonna get cold again. It's gonna get into the high 40s in the next few days in the morning, I think after tomorrow. And so every time I think I'm gonna get those spring and summer clothes down and switch out my wardrobe, I think, again. So there's these great little paths in here. And I believe this is the one that goes back to the little pond. Here's the back. We'll get another good view of the back. Doing some work on the side here on the right. So the exhibit that was in there was actually just mixed in with everything. So if you stopped, each room has just a plaque. There's one plaque that kind of tells you what everything is in the room. And if it had anything that had a big D on it, it was something that was donated. Look at just so beautiful, quiet. They have very strange hours here. They're open from 10 to 12:30. And then they open again, I think, at 1:30 to 5:30. So if you're going to come, maybe come in the afternoon if you really want to spend some time. It is small. So the garden is open the whole time. The chateau itself closes it. So if you come at 10, spend, hour and a half inside and walk around the gardens. We're right on the edge of a very big park. The monument to the Prince Imperial. Oh, here's the Temple of Love back here. This is about as outdoorsy as I get, guys. Look at that. And then you have the Prince Imperial. That's a copy of a statue that's actually at the Orsay in marble. I hear something rustling in this ivy. You're never going to see anything move as fast as you will see me move. No messy. But we're coming up to the little bridge. So one of the things that Josephine had out here is when they came back from Australia and they brought kangaroos and everything, 3 of the kangaroos that came back, only one of them survived. But they came back with some black swans. And these black swans Napoleon gave them to Josephine. And when I first came out here many years ago, there was black swans still here. I don't think that they're related. I'd like to think they're related, but it was the first time I ever saw a black swan. And they're beautiful, so let's cross our fingers. But here, hopefully, a lot of people know who she is. She is the OG. She is the original. She is Diane de Versailles. Diane de Versailles, this was the first piece that the king had in his collection, Louis XIV. It's in marble, and that one is actually at the Louvre now. But there's copies of her everywhere. This one's actually in bronze. But there's copies of her in marble that are all over the place, including the Tuileries and the Luxembourg and Fontainebleau and Versailles. Okay, let's go. Oh, guys, I see one. Okay, wait. There's lots of people here. Look at how beautiful. I mean, could this just be my summer weekend residence? Sorry, no tours on the weekends anymore because I'm moving to Malmaison and I'm an empress now. Look at, you gotta see through the trees here. Look at, can you see him?
They're both there, so you gotta figure out which.
These swans are actually very mean.
Yeah.
They're not nice creatures. I don't recall this fence being here before. Oh, there's a geese. There they are, look at. Can you see them? Kind of hard to see them. Oh. Zoom out of there. closet because I need to take some pictures of the swans real quick. So this here is her beautiful dining room. These paintings on the wall are inspired by Pompeii. Look at this. Hi. Josephine had this room created for Napoleon, so he had a place to come. She was trying to woo him back, and this room was created to look like a tent that he would have had on a campaign. And you have on the right, Josephine, and on the left here is his mother. The next room is the one that I adore and would love to have. This was his office and his library. Look at this. Can you imagine? Look at the books. I mean, it's kind of small. I think I need a few more shelves. But look at this. A lot of the furniture that was here was sold off and taken, and Napoleon III, when he ended up getting this back later, he tried to collect as much as they can, and they still do today. Sometimes they do get things donated that had belonged, and right now they're having an exhibit upstairs. It's about the different donators over the time, so I can't wait to see that. This might be where Josephine lived, but we have a lot of Napoleon because, of course. But in here, I love this room because this is one of, I believe it was 5 of these he did. And this is the Jacques David painting of Napoleon going over the St. Bernard Pass. But here's a fun fact. He was actually on like a mule. But let's repaint him on some beautiful, huge steed, taking him over victoriously across St. Bernard. And also another fun fact, my grandparents had gone there. But you have some really beautiful things in here, some other paintings. Look at this one. Here's young Napoleon, much like one of my favorite paintings in the Louvre. Check this gorgeous tapestry made from the painting that Gerard did of Josephine in her coronation outfit. This room is filled with different china, porcelain that had belonged to both Napoleon and Josephine. Look at this. My cousin needs that iris one at the chateau. Beautiful glassware. Josephine by Lafont. Again, you know, she was married to the king of propaganda. So pretty. That was that first little one with the, is an inkwell. Look at it. So beautiful. And then also they're gaining on. This room used to be 2 separate rooms, so it was a small bedroom, and then it was also part of Josephine's bathroom. And a lot of the furniture in here came from Paris, where they were living when they got married. And you can see this great little model of the chateau and the property, and also what used to be there. But you'll see the swans in here a lot, and the swans, I'll tell you about that, but look at also the peacock. And that's her daughter, Hortensia, and Eugène, her son. And of course, There's Josephine. This is the antechamber to Josephine's bedroom. It's a great view out the window to the garden. It's an English style garden. She actually got really mad because Fontaine and Pressier, who were the architects for Napoleon that did a lot of the work on the Louvre, she was mad at them because they wanted it out here, and Napoleon wanted to have the perfect French lines and very geometric, and that's not what she wanted. She wanted the English garden. English garden basically means it's all just pretty all over the place. But you could walk right into her bedroom. And again, you have the swans. Just look at how gorgeous this is. And this is where she took her very last breath, was in this room. Surrounded by beautiful paintings of her roses. The Josephine, the J on there. So beautiful. And this, look at this is her little traveling kit. And you can see on here, she's got a little picture of Napoleon. These are just so amazing. Bonjour. This was more of her everyday room where she would sleep here. And when you see these beds and you see them, they're so small, it's because they would actually sleep somewhat sitting up because they believe that you would actually choke in your sleep on your tongue and die. So that is why you see these beds so small. It's not because they were actually very small, which is another thing that everybody thinks about Napoleon. I mean, he was short, but he wasn't exactly short for the period. And then she walks right into her dressing room, which also I think I need a dressing room. Obviously, I need a shoe room and a couple offices. I think I need one office that just has all my information about the Louvre in it. She could sit right here. Look at how beautiful that porcelain is. They're doing a lot of work on the building outside. Look at this. And this is her boudoir. I really believe that I need to live like this. Oh, the Apollo Belvedere is out the window. Let me show you because we might not be able to see it. This is past a fence, so we'll have to see if we could get down there. But that is a copy, obviously. Look how beautiful. And of course, a statue of her. On the top floor of the chateau, they have a museum, and this museum is, a lot of this is dedicated to the last days of Napoleon. And look at, you have these. There's a lock of his hair in there. And this was a shirt he had worn when he was sick. And those, that little thing looks like parchment was compresses. He wore that shirt. The thing about Napoleon is because it's post-revolution, we still have a lot of these things. And this is furniture that was at Santa Anita. I think a lot of people don't realize this is up here. I kind of skipped this part. I mean, the chateau itself is very small. What you get to see isn't that much. Oh, that reminds me. My grandma had things like this. Beautiful screens. Look at this. And this is silver that had belonged to Napoleon that he used there. This box is insane. And how about this? Who doesn't need that? A beautiful leather case to hold your dessert plates. see if they still have the death mask here. They didn't, but because he died on an island, and the doctor that was there did not have the proper things to create his death mask, and so they actually made his death mask long after, hours after he had died, even a day after he died. So it's very different than what it should be. That's his son, who is the King of Mars. Souvenirs that Josephine had of him. Look at, he had a little baby play cannon. Beautiful little snuff box. That was his little necklace. And a little picture. Boots that Napoleon wore. Look at that, that's pretty big feet. Cool. Younger Napoleon. How amazing is this bench out in the garden? So here it is. So he died on May 5th at 5:49 p.m. And they did not do this until the 7th of May. So he had been dead for about a day and a half at this point when they did the death mask. I'm glad we don't do this anymore. It's kind of a strange thing. Delacroix, there's the death mask of Delacroix. And he specifically said he did not want them to do a death mask. There you go. But there he is. And these are all the things that the priests use for his last rites. And then you have this great tent. The tent that he actually, the bed that he was laying in when he died is actually at the Army Museum. Look at that great chair. It was the British that actually started the rumor saying how short he was. And he was standard for his height for the French at that time. So he wasn't exactly, 5'2". It's a beautiful painting done representing it after his death. This one's called C'est Fini, done in 1900 by Oscar Rex. And how about that? Okay, there's two young Napoleons right there. This really is it's such a beautiful place. I love these plates. And these are all about the return of his ashes. Even though he wasn't cremated, he was buried, his whole body. And so when he was returned to Paris and put into Les Invalides, but you could see here, this is pretty amazing. Look at how it's all, each one's dated. Entre la Concorde, Cortège et Invalides. Really amazing. Noticed. I think we go to the other side. It smells like freshly cut grass out here. It's so nice. My shoes get dirty, guys. We're having a problem. Again, not outdoorsy. this side a little better. You have the road right outside the gate here. Oh, it's a bird. They're coming down to us. Hi, guys. Beautiful. I wonder if they have red feet. Now that I came down here, everybody's coming down here. Okay. Okay, sweet little swans. I would love to think that they're related to the ones that belong to Josephine, but I don't know. What do you think? Could be. It could. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of black swans. You know that Paris at one time, so there's the island. If you saw one, I think I did it, oh my goodness, last year, 2 years ago maybe, around 4th of July. Did a walk on the little island, the man-made island. This name for swans in Paris, where the Statue of Liberty is. At one point, farther down, closer to Invalides, at one point they had a massive amount of swans, and they were laying eggs, and like chicken eggs for food, and they could not, the city was like using them, restaurants, because they could not eat them fast enough because they were laying so many eggs, and there were so many swans that they didn't know what to do, and so they started just like picking them up and like carting them off to outside of the city and putting them in lakes and things because there were so many swans. And now Paris, I think I've seen at the most 5 or 6 clumped together. Usually you see 2 or 3 together, and they're usually between Pont des Arts and Ile de la Cité and Ile Saint-Louis. That's usually where you see them most of the time. But again, they're not nice. They are so beautiful, but if you get too close to them, they will like bite you. Look at how beautiful this is today. And I'm hoping this works with recording these for you, because there's so many places inside that I want to share with you where the signal is so bad, and also just because of time constraints. Also with the Olympics coming up, it's going to be mayhem. It already is mayhem trying to get around the city. If you are coming in the next few weeks, don't try to even use a car or take a taxi unless you're staying, like if you're on the left bank, go someplace on the left bank in the car. Try not to hop over the river because it's just, it's pretty bad already. And on the 18th, so between July 18th and July 26th, 26th is opening ceremonies. Between that period of time, you will be able to go anywhere. You won't, the Louvre is going to be closed. They have not publicly announced that. The Louvre is going to be closed for 9 days. The Louvre is also going to be closed many weekends in July and August. If there are events going on, like the marathon and the cycling, and they're going past there, the Louvre is just closing because it's just going to be too difficult to get into there. So if you're coming in July, don't. Come at the beginning. Come at beginning of August and to the middle of August, but stay away from opening ceremony time. I think, I know on the other side, go down the other path, these beautiful urns. So you have these big vases here. They're actually called Medici vases. Medici, Medicis, depends on where you are, what you want to call them. That's what the shape is. The originals, they've made copies of them, and they are in the Tuileries. And also some of the originals are actually in the Louvre. How perfect would it be if one of the swans just came swimming on by us. Just listen. So where we see that obelisk, right behind that is where Josephine's bedroom is. That obelisk used to be have gold on it, but it's worn away. Let's see. Monuments of the park. Statue of Neptune. Oh, and some of the statues that came here actually came from the Chateau de Malmaison. So the Marly was mostly destroyed during the Revolution. And in the Louvre, because everything comes back to the Louvre, at the Cour Marly, so there's Cour Pagerie and the Cour Marly. And those two are in the Richelieu wing. And the Marly is named because the pieces that are in there came from the Chateau de Marly, those statues. And it's really beautiful. Look at this. I feel like I should have worn an Empire-style dress. And I could have just wandered through the garden. So yes, so her bedroom is right up there. And then her little everyday bedroom is this next window. Then her little bathroom. And I believe this is the tree. We'll go see. This tree was a gift from Napoleon. We'll see, because I remember the first time I came here, there was a plaque, and it was different. So they've let the grass really grow. I think so, because there's a plaque here. We'll go around here, and then I'd love to get back out, but I don't know. I don't think we could get. I think that the Apollo Belvedere copy, it might be behind that fence, because I would love to see that. That is something that Napoleon took. It used to be at the Louvre. Look at this tree. It's the cedar of Marengo. Look at that. How gorgeous. Oh, here's all the statues that are on the front here. Planted 1800. Oh la la. So beautiful. I am also going to take a little walk from here. Oh, I won't be getting around. Take a little walk from here because I'm going to the church, and I have not been here before, where Josephine's actually buried, and her daughter. And you know, her daughter, Hortensia, she was married, and her son would become Napoleon III. This is a beautiful planting. Look at these. Sweet little, what are these? Are these grapefruit? They look kind of like grapefruit. Citrus something. They're so cute. Look at that. So this obelisk used to have gold on it. It's just worn away. And then you have these two centaurs here at the entrance. So pretty. All right, guys, I'm going to take off from here. I'm going to walk down about a mile away to the church where she is, and I'll bring you a little something from there. So I'm on my way to go walk to the church where Josephine is buried, but look at what I came across. So this is this beautiful park. It's the Chateau de Beauharnais, and it was once part of her entire domain. But look at this beautiful statue of her surrounded by roses. Oh, love it. And there's some other, you have an eagle over here, of course. But look at how beautiful this is. And there's little families having picnics and sitting in the grass and playing ball. And here's the chateau, not open to the public or open at all. I'm gonna walk through here a little ways instead of walking alongside the road. How beautiful is this? Beautiful park. Oh my God, what in the world was that? That cat was living its best life. I thought from far away, before I had the cut on my eye, I thought it was a baby carrier. No. No. My grandma at one point wanted to get one of those, a stroller to put her cat in. And I was like, that's a hard pass, Grandma. No. You're not going to walk the cat outside in a stroller. Look at this. Just beautiful. Okay. On y va. Off to the church. Bonjour, bonjour. We're here at the church. So this is the Saint-Pierre St. Paul Church, and the facade is 1633. It was paid for by Cardinal Richelieu, and it was done by Jacques Le Mercier, who also did some work on the Louvre. You have Peter and Paul here, right in the very front. We're gonna go inside, because this is where Josephine and her daughter, Hortense, is buried. It's a really beautiful small church. Inside, a lot of it was redone in the 19th century under Napoleon III. The organ in here now is from Napoleon III. But here's some really beautiful stained glass windows. On the left there is Saint Martin. And then some of the other ones are just scenes from the Bible. And of course, we have a window up here of my girl Saint Geneviève. And we have also some that are Louis IX. But when they had the funeral for Josephine, her funeral, she was brought from Malmaison, which is about a mile away from here. Walked over here, brought her coffin. She's in a triple lined coffin. It's lead, oak, and mahogany. And this is it was done in 1825, so it was done 9 years after she died. And she is there, and she's in a kneeling position, just exactly how she is in Jacques-Louis David's painting of the coronation of Napoleon. And I just bought this little book at Malmaison because, of course, I did. And here she is. Look, it's reversed, but this is how she was in the painting, and so that's how she's depicted here. It's a really beautiful tomb that she is in. And it was done by Louis Martin Barthol, and under by the sculptor Pierre Cartelli. But it's really beautiful. Very quiet back here. She was brought here. They brought her also. There was 2 people. Each one had a red velvet cushion, and on top of each one of those was a silver urn. And inside that urn, one of them was her heart, and one of them was her entrails. And that's kind of her nod to being like, hey guys, listen, I was an empress. I used to be something. And because that was something the kings and queens did, like Louis XIII and Louis XIV, they had their heart was placed in the Saint Paul Saint Louis church that's in Paris. But she did that so that she could be kind of linked to that as well. But isn't she so beautiful? Look, it's just a very quiet church. Not many people are here. And she's looking on the other side is her daughter, but right next to her is her uncle. In this little tomb here, her uncle had come here from Martinique. So you go right past the altar here. Some more beautiful stained glass. St. Peter and Paul up there again. Those guys get all the limelight. But it's really great here. They actually have really great little plaques. And it even will tell you everything that's on here. So pretty. Look at that. And there's a rose window up above her. they're getting ready for a service in here. They're moving everything around. And then on this side, you have her daughter. And this is Hortensia. And Hortensia, she was married off to Louis Napoleon, the brother of Napoleon. Napoleon was her stepfather and kind of adopted her. And so she ended up marrying his brother. And then she had the son that would become Louis Napoleon III. So he is Napoleon III. And she also was the Queen of Holland. So above, right there at her feet, or where she's kneeling, you see a crown and a lira. And so that crown is because she was the Queen of Holland. But she was also loved music, and she was a songwriter. She would write these songs that the army would actually sing. But it was Napoleon III and Eugenie came and inaugurated this in 1858 after she had died, and she's there with an angel rising up above her. But look, it's just such a beautiful little church. The walls and the blue are very pretty. And of course, you can't have a church without one of my other favorites, Joan of Arc. So she's right here. She's just in plaster. And right here in this window, on the left, is Saint Louis with his mother, Blanche de Castille. Looks like he's in trouble. She's wagging her finger at him. And then this one is Saint Louis feeding the poor on the right. But it's a really beautiful small church. The organ from Napoleon III. Look at those windows. The windows look at, let's see if I could zoom in here for you. Get one that's not there. Very beautiful, very plain. So this is what you call the clear story. Because they wanted it to, for the churches to have it so you could get more light into the church. St. Paul again. And the baptism of Christ here at the baptismal font. Cute little kids with their bubbles. That's it. So that is a little bit of a glimpse today into the life of Madame Josephine, the Empress. Saint Michael up there on the right. So I hope you enjoyed this little glimpse into the life of Malmaison. And this, look at how beautiful this day is in Paris. I mean, just gorgeous. And it's a real easy, it's only about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, depending on where you are in Paris. By Uber. It's only about 30 euros because the area A is not doing so good these days. And so you could actually get over here from the left bank. I think it actually took close to 40 minutes because there's something going on today in the Champs-Élysées because President Biden is here. So many dignitaries are here because of the, oh, look at this. The Josephine and Napoleon walk. How great is that? So it was kind of hectic trying to get around, but it's really beautiful. Come out here during the week. It's probably a little better, but on the weekend it's beautiful. And this market looked really fun, and it actually had fruits and vegetables and flowers and everything. And I'm gonna go pop into this other place because I still need to get my red geraniums. And there's a little place over here, and maybe I might just get those finally today. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you want to, any tips are appreciated. You can send it to Claudine at ClaudineHemingway.com at PayPal or Venmo or Zelle. And I appreciate that. It keeps it going. I do spend a lot of time putting these together for you. So to keep this going and make it worthwhile, any help you can to send some tips would be fantastic. And I will see you again soon. Thanks all.